Let me ask you something important. Why do you get out of bed in the morning? Not because you have to, but because you want to. If you can't answer that clearly, then maybe it's time to pause and reflect. Because life without a purpose is like a ship without a compass. You can work hard. You can be smart. You can even be talented. But without direction, you drift. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. See, it's not the discipline that's missing. It's not the knowledge. It's not even the motivation. It's the purpose. The deep-rooted reason why. Because once you discover your why, you'll endure almost any how. So today, I want to talk about something that changes everything. Not overnight, but from the inside out. It's what gives fuel to your goals, clarity to your thoughts, fire to your actions. It's not a tactic. It's not a strategy. It's not a hack. It's the core of your life. It's called purpose. And if you can find it, if you can define it, and if you can live by it, you won't just achieve more, you'll feel more alive. So let's begin. Let me begin with a quiet truth. You can be busy and still be empty. You can be successful and still feel lost. I've known people with money in the bank, a business card full of titles, even applause from the crowd, yet their hearts whisper the same quiet sentence. Something's missing. And do you know what's missing? Purpose. That's it. That's the whole. Because when purpose is absent, achievement tastes flat. Days blur together, and even wins feel shallow. The reason for setting goals is what they make of you to achieve them. That's purpose. It's not just about what you chase. It's about who you become in the chase. Without that clarity, people drift. They work all day and wonder why they're tired. They achieve more and feel less fulfilled. Because productivity without purpose is just well-planned emptiness. Now listen. Purpose doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't knock on your door in the middle of the night. It waits quietly until you're ready to ask the right question. Why am I really here? Not what others expect, not what society screams, but why you were put here on this planet at this time. That's where the fire lives. Let's take a moment and reflect. If your calendar is full, but your heart is empty, it's not time to do more. It's time to do less of the wrong things and more of the right ones. And purpose is what makes that decision clear. Here's a principle I've lived by. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Without purpose, you'll live someone else's agenda. You'll serve someone else's dream. And you'll wonder where the years went. But when purpose takes the wheel, everything changes. Think of purpose like your internal compass. It doesn't move with emotion. It doesn't sway with trends. It simply points north. Your north. And once you know where your north is, you stop running in circles. But let me warn you, purpose doesn't come to the distracted. It doesn't come to the scattered. It comes to the intentional, the quiet, the ones who are willing to stop scrolling and start listening. So how do you find it? You start asking the right questions. What would I do even if I wasn't paid? What problem am I uniquely designed to solve? What work makes me feel alive, not just busy? What breaks my heart that I can help heal? What legacy would I be proud to leave? Because your purpose lives inside those answers. And no, it won't come all at once. But it comes in pieces, in patterns, in whispers. Your job isn't to invent your purpose. It's to recognize it. It's been there all along, waiting for you to notice. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. A purpose is that change in direction. It doesn't change everything in a flash, but it changes what matters. And once you find it, you'll stop trading your time for money and start investing your life in meaning. Don't just work hard. Work for something. Don't just chase success. Stand for something. Because the greatest tragedy is not that people aim too high and miss. It's that they aim too low. Or worse, never aim at all. You were meant for more. But more only matters when it's tied to meaning. So take the time to pause, to ask, to dig, to write, and to deciding, what will I live for? Because without purpose, you'll survive, but with purpose, you'll come alive. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. You don't have to invent your purpose. That's right. You don't have to sit down and make something up. You don't have to force it. You don't have to copy someone else's dream and call it your own. Because your purpose, it was never missing. It was just buried. You've got to discover who you are, and then go to work on being the best you that you can be. That's the principle. You don't create yourself. You uncover yourself. And when you dog, you find your purpose. Now, you might be wondering, if it's inside me, why don't I see it? Well, the truth is, life has a way of covering things up. When you were young, you had passions. You had interests. You were curious, alive, driven by something deeper. But somewhere along the way, life stepped in, the noise, the comparisons, the responsibilities, and little by little your sense of purpose got buried. Not destroyed, just hidden. But here's the good news, so what's buried is not gone. It's waiting. Waiting for you to dig again. Waiting for you to get quiet. To stop trying to be someone else and start becoming who you already are. Let me give you the formula Jim Rohn would always come back to: look inward. Reflect backward. Act forward. Let's break that down. 1. Look inward. Purpose doesn't come from outside you. It doesn't come from the latest trend or the hottest podcast. It comes from within. So take time to ask yourself questions that matter. What energizes me? What do I naturally care about? What could I talk about for hours and still feel excited? You'll be amazed what answers rise up when you get still too. Reflect backward. Sometimes to know where you're going, you've got to look back. Look at your story, your childhood, the times you felt most alive, the moments that made you cry, the challenges that shaped you. Because purpose often hides in your pain and in your passion. Everything that happens to you, good or bad, becomes part of your story. Maybe what you went through wasn't fair. Maybe it wasn't easy, but it wasn't wasted. Because sometimes what broke you becomes the very thing you're called to heal in others. That's not chance. That's calling. 3. Act forward. This is important. Purpose is not just something you feel. It's something you do. It shows up when you start walking. You don't wait to feel ready. You move with what you know right now. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Take action on your instincts. Follow that little spark of excitement. Take the class. Make the call. Share your message. Start the project. Purpose becomes clearer in motion. The more you act, the more you align. And the more you align, the more you become. Now, here's the challenge most people facing. They think purpose has to be big, loud, global, impressive. But that's not true. Purpose can be quiet. It can be simple. It can live in small things done with great care, raising a family with love, serving your community, creating beauty, building a business with integrity. Purpose isn't always loud, but it is always clear. And once you begin to walk in it, you'll feel something powerful take over. You won't just get more done. You'll feel alive doing it. Because you're no longer chasing someone else's dream. You're living your own assignment. And when your life aligns with your inner values, the anxiety quiets, the doubts weaken, the peace grows stronger. So here's what I want you to remember today. You don't need to invent a new version of yourself. You just need to return to the real one, the one buried under the noise, the one you've always been. And once you find that version, you'll start to feel what Jim Rohn called the pull of purpose. It's not a push, it's a pull. You don't force it, it draws you. So stop trying to be someone else. Stop chasing validation. Instead, start listening, start asking, start uncovering. Because the answer isn't out there. It's in you. It always was. Let me tell you something that changed the way I lived. Discipline is not a personality trait. It's not just for the few, the focused, the lucky. It's something anyone can develop, but not from willpower alone. Discipline comes from purpose. When your reason is strong enough, your habits will follow. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. You see, the problem isn't that people are lazy. The problem is that people are unclear. Because once you find your purpose, once you lock into it, discipline stops feeling like a burning bay and starts feeling like alignment. Think about it like this: a person who doesn't know why they're getting up early. They hit the snooze button. But a person with a mission, they wake up with energy before the alarm. Why? Because purpose lights a fire, and once it's burning, discipline becomes the natural byproduct. Let's break it down. You can try to force yourself to go to the gym. You can try to force yourself to work late. You can try to force yourself to say no to distractions. But if you're only doing it because you should, you'll eventually quit. Because should wears thin, but must comes from something deeper. And when you tie your daily actions to your long-term vision, you stop needing so much force. Let me give you an example. Picture two people at the starting line of a race. The first person is running to win a trophy. The second is running to save their child's life. Now ask yourself, who will run harder? Who will give up less? Who will go through more pain, more sacrifice, more discomfort? That's the difference between motivation and purpose. Motivation can come and go, but purpose, it pulls you forward. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. A purpose is what gives you the strength to cross that bridge. Without it, you stand on the edge of desire, but you never take the first step. Now let me get practical for a moment. When you know your purpose, you no longer need to feel like it to do the work. You just do it. Why? Because it's part of your mission, and that mission turns discipline from a chore into a choice. You read because you're becoming someone. You work out because your body is a tool, not a decoration. You save your money because you've got a vision, not just a budget. You focus because your future deserves your full attention. Discipline becomes easier when your life has direction. That's why some people can do the same hard thing every day and never complain. It's not because they enjoy the pain. It's because they've seen the payoff. And the payoff matters more than the pain. Here's the truth if you're struggling with discipline. Don't start by trying harder. Start by getting clearer. Go back to your purpose. Write it down. Define it. Speak it aloud. Remind yourself of it every single morning. Put it where you can see it. On the wall, on your mirror, in your wallet. Because when your reason is visible, your actions become inevitable. The stronger the purpose, the stronger the discipline. So if you've been inconsistent, if you've been drifting, if your habits are all over the place, don't beat yourself up. Just go back to your why. Because once the why is strong, you'll find the how. You don't rise to the level of your feelings. You rise to the level of your purpose. Your goals need a reason. Your routines need a reason. Even your pain needs a reason. And once that reason becomes real to you, discipline will no longer feel like sacrifice. It'll feel like service to your future, to your vision, to the person you were meant to become. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. It's easy to be committed when everything is easy. But what about when it's not? What about when the days get long? When the results don't come? When your back is against the wall and no one is cheering? That's the test. That's when most people quit. Because motivation fades. Willpower runs out. Excitement disappears. But purpose stays. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. And do you know what makes you better? Not comfort, not convenience. Hard times. It's in the struggle that your purpose has a chance to show up. Because your purpose isn't proven in your goals. It's proven in your pain. Now here's something worth writing down. Discipline starts the journey, but purpose keeps you going. You can plan your days perfectly. You can have goals written in gold. But if you don't have a reason to keep going, especially when life gets hard, you'll always look for the exit. Because when there's no purpose, the pressure wins. But when your purpose is cleared, even the pressure has a place. Let me ask you something. What's your response when it gets hard? Do you slow down? Do you stop completely? Do you go back to your comfort zone? Or do you remind yourself why you started? Because if you can remember that, you can push through almost anything. When the why gets stronger, the how gets easier. And that includes the hard. How? You see, purpose is like an anchor. Storms will come. They always do. But purpose keeps you grounded. It reminds you that the pain has a point, that the struggle is shaping you, that you're not just going through something. You're growing through something. You'll go through winters. Times when everything feels cold, uncertain, difficult. But the winter has a role. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to test you, to see if your roots are deep, and your roots are your purpose. If that root is shallow, you'll fall. If that root is deep, you'll bend, but you won't break. Let me paint this picture for you. A tree doesn't grow in perfect weather. It grows through storms, through wind, through drought, and every challenge that comes against it forces its roots to dig deeper. That's you. Every setback you've faced, that was your chance to deepen your root. And that root, your purpose, is what allows you to last. When it gets hard, don't run. Don't panic. Don't complain. Instead ask, what is this moment here to teach me? Because life's not happening to you. It's happening for you. To refine you. To prepare you. To stretch you so that you can carry what's coming. Here's the mistake people making. They think success is about removing resistance. But real success is learning to rise despite resistance. And that takes more than willpower. It takes a reason. A reason big enough to push through fear. A reason deep enough to outlast failure. A reason real enough to quiet your excuses. We must all suffer one of two things, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But when you have purpose, even the pain of discipline starts to feel like purpose too. You stop asking, why me? And you start saying, try me. You stop waiting for life to get easier and start getting stronger. So the next time you feel like quitting, pause. Don't just look at what's hard. Look at what's worth it. Who needs you to keep going? What future is depending on your persistence today? What kind of person are you becoming by staying in the fight? Because purpose doesn't just help you win. It helps you endure. Hard doesn't mean stop. Hard means dig deeper. And when you know your purpose, you won't just survive the hard seasons, you'll grow in them. You'll bleed. You'll struggle. But you'll rise stronger, clearer, more committed. Because the person who keeps going, when it's no longer exciting, when no one's watching, when everything feels uphill, that person becomes unstoppable. Let me tell you something simple, but life-changing purpose only works if you live it. It's not enough to find your purpose. You've got to wear it, walk with it, speak through it, build with it every single day. Because purpose isn't an event. It's not a journal entry. It's not a weekend seminar or an emotional spark. It's a decision. And that decision must show up in how you live your life, consistently. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Now imagine this, what if every one of those disciplines, every habit, every choice, was fueled by your purpose? That's when your life becomes powerful. Not chaotic, not reactive, aligned, focused, steady. Purpose is not just a sentence you write. It's a lifestyle you build. You live it in your schedule. You live it in how you speak to people. You live it in how you respond to challenges. You live it in how you spend your time, your money, your attention. When people meet you, they should feel your purpose. Let me say it another way. If your life is a message, purpose is the ink. You're writing something every day with your choices, with your energy, with your attitude. The question I seek, what story are you telling? Because a life without purpose says nothing, but a life with purpose, it speaks loudly, even in silence. Now, how do we do it? How do we take this thing called purpose and live it out daily? 1. Design your days around your purpose. Don't just fit it in. Build your calendar around it. If your purpose is to lead, make time to grow as a leader. If your purpose is to serve, put service on your schedule. If your purpose is to create, block time for your craft. Because if it doesn't live on your calendar, it probably won't live in your reality. 2. Say no to what doesn't align. One of the strongest signs of purpose, clarity. And when you're clear, you can say no to good things so you can say yes to the right things. Don't major in minor things. You don't have time to chase every opportunity. You don't need to explain every decision. You just need to protect what matters most. And if you've got a purpose, protect it like gold. 3. Let purpose shape your identity. Here's something most people miss: you don't achieve your purpose. You become the kind of person who lives it out. So ask yourself, how does a person with my purpose speak? How do they carry themselves? What time do they wake up? What kind of relationships do they build? What are they reading, practicing, pursuing? You're not just building habits. You're shaping identity. And when your identity aligns with your purpose, that's when your life starts to transform. 4. Use purpose to get back up. Living with purpose doesn't mean you won't fall. It means you'll always rise. Why? Because your reason is stronger than your resistance. There will be setbacks. There will be criticism. There will be days when you question it all. But purpose gives you a compass. And compasses don't break in bad weather. They just keep pointing north. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. But living with purpose removes regret. You may still face pain. You may still face failure. But when you've lived on purpose, you'll know this: you gave your best. You stood for something. You didn't drift. You didn't fake it. You faced it. You didn't just breathe it, you lived. Purpose is not just about achievement. It's about alignment. When your actions match your values, when your habits match your calling, when your heart matches your direction, you find peace. You find clarity. You find joy, not just in results, but in the process. And that's the greatest reward. So live your purpose boldly. Live it daily. Let it shape your decisions. Let it mold your mindset. Let it echo through every room you walk into. Because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people living on purpose. And that can be you. Now that we've come to the end of this series on the power of purpose, take this with you. Don't just go through life. Grow through it. And don't just grow for yourself. Grow with purpose. Purpose won't always make life easier, but it will always make life worth it. Let's live that truth. One choice, one habit, one day at a time.